Well, the dust is settled and I'm sat here still not knowing how to feel. On Saturday, we witnessed a dishevelled first half, one where West Ham smelt our weaknesses and clinically took a 2-0 lead. But in the second half, we battered them, we mauled them, we pounded, we pummeled, we annihilated, spanked, whipped, slapped them up, but only scored 2. It was a Desmond at Dean Court, a game of 2 halves, one which seems to have a zillion subplots. Rescued a point from 2-0 down, still unbeaten at home. Football, bloody hell. What a day. Are you dry yet, Tom?
Yeah, just about, mate. I literally said to you then it's mad what football does, because at half time I was thinking, God, I'm drenched, I'm cold, this is horrible. Second half, I completely forgot about the weather because it was just an onslaught one end. It was really good fun. It was edge of the seat stuff. So yeah, a real strange game. And as you said, it's I just don't know how to feel about Unal. But no, I don't know how to feel because I'm absolutely gutted. But then I'm like, half time, we'd have all gone. Imagine if we're gutted because we draw this, I'm going to shut up. So, yeah, weird game. But as you say, mate, unbeaten at home. Showed a lot of character in the second half. Still showed that a few little tweaks on that. We're a really good side after a tentative first one. And yeah, I think that both subs made a big difference that we'll come on to. And West Ham will be really frustrated with what they did in terms of allowing us to get onto them even more. But we took advantage in a second.
If people are listening on the pod and they're a bit confused by Tom saying he doesn't know how to feel about Unal, on YouTube there was a little side wink. That was one of the songs that we put forward, the Sugar Babes version. Yes. However, don't worry, it just defaulted to the usual Enes Unal.
Of course.
There are some people on Twitter that are angry about our song repertoire, but songs shouldn't be written on Twitter. Why not sing them in the stands? If they work, they work. That's all.
To be fair, I think what would be better is I don't believe that anybody feels the way I feel about Unal.
Very good.
That's better.
Very good. And look, to anyone that is listening, Tom, you are donning a shirt which to the naked eye or someone with a little bit blurry vision like myself from a way back would think, oh, is that a new Bournemouth shirt? It's not. It's a red and black stripe number, but what is it?
Some like lower league Turkish side that I got just for, actually, yeah, my brother got me it and it was for, because we just signed a Turkish player at the time, which was Unal, and I thought, I've got to wear it. It's getting a nice little run out at the moment because I bought it back when he was back from injury.
Yeah.
I've had to keep it on. My Morocco number still hasn't got one. I'm hoping to get that one out soon. But yeah, I've got to wear it because absolutely, that was a real nice little cherry on top on it. That the goal scorer was Unal. Really, really pleased for him. He's had a tough time.
I suppose the big question though is what on earth went wrong in the first half and how did it change so massively? I've seen loads of games that are the archetypal game of 2 halves, loads of times, right? But I don't think anything that dramatic ever in terms of the momentum shift.
Yes.
I mean, I say momentum shift. The first half wasn't as bad as
we still shouldn't have been 2-0 down.
We shouldn't have been 2-0 down.
They had 2 shots.
Yeah, agreed. But I mean, it did feel like we were so impotent in that first half. But the second half, my God, I've never seen anything like it.
No, it was strange. It was, I suppose, a little bit like that Luton game where everything went wrong in the first half.
Actually, yeah. I mean, that was 3-0 at half time.
Yeah, and 1-4-3. But to be fair, I think their keeper made more saves in this one. So it was a real turnaround of fortunes. I think, as I say, we obviously had nothing to lose, which helps a little bit in that sense because you just go for it and you're not worried about anything and just kind of, throwing everything at it. And from their perspective, I think they panicked. I think their manager panicked. Even if it's not Callum, you can't defend like that and then every time you clear it, no, it's coming straight back. You've got to have someone that's going to cause our centre-back some problems and run the channels and hold the ball up. And apart from Bowen on the right, who won a few free kicks and wasted some time for them, they were just letting it come straight back. So it was like, as soon as the attack broke down, you went, right, here comes another one. Really strange from Nuno because I thought tactically in the first half, he was bang on. Low block, nicked a few chances. And, that's what, West Ham fans will be thinking. I'm not sure he will, but if you can keep Callum Wilson fit, you've at least got someone to put the ball in the net. Because second one in particular was a proper striker's finish, wasn't it?
Yeah, so let's look at the league table then. Don't worry, we are still a top 10 side. But Tom, can we just quickly talk about the fact that we're ahead of Liverpool and what on earth is going on there? Some people thought that our train was off the track somewhat with some recent performances, but Liverpool, I've never seen anything like it.
5 defeats, 6 Premier League games. Crazy. And you look at the team and the players they've got, it just seems, you can see a drop-off. We saw it with City last season. You can see a little bit of a drop-off, but it's absolutely mind-blowing. And it's not just, credit to Forest, but you think, a Dyche side might go there, make it difficult, nick a point. Yeah. They went over 3-0 away from home. Really strange, man. Not sure what's happening happening to them at all. Really, really bizarre. But hopefully, Slot's got enough credit in the bank, so as long as it comes sniffing. But they can. It always feels like with Liverpool, they kind of get whatever they want as manager. But I'm hoping they stick with him. But yeah, real weird one for him. And grass ain't always greener, is it, Milos? Antoine, maybe CC him in on that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Tom, what was your pre-match routine yesterday? Because I will level with you. I mean, people who watch the vlog will know this. I looked outside. I thought, I'm just going straight there today.
Yeah. I looked outside and was in the pub by 11.
So what was the lunchtime game? It was Burnley, wasn't it?
Parker Ball against Chelsea. Yeah. Chelsea won 2-0. They actually started really well, Burnley. They were playing really well, and then they conceded and didn't have enough. But it was open at 11. Obviously, I'm walking distance from there. So
I presume the indoors was absolutely packed.
Yes, it was. By the early kick-off, it was absolutely rammed because no one wanted to be outside.
And did anyone sit on our sofa?
Yes. We did have a few on the sofa, which, I thought, do I have a word there? Allowed it for them, and hopefully they are subscribed.
When we went to Manchester City, one of the previous occasions, and we saw that there was some kind of tent in the fan zone, and there was a cardboard cutout of Pep Guardiola. Do you think what I'm thinking?
No,
we should do that for people to have selfies with us.
Yeah,
on our sofa. That's all we're saying.
Yeah, it could be. But no, it was good in there because it was busy, as I say. But yeah, it was nice to have it busy, but yeah, it was horrible weather for it, wasn't it? So no one could really stand out outside. A lot came back after as well, which was good.
And let me talk about the raffle though, because there's usually a first prize of 100, second prize of 50. I think the second prize rolled over, so it was 100 and 100. Yeah. You had a load of raffle tickets because people who couldn't go just gave you them.
Yeah, I was like 2 off on the first one. The guy, I know, I'm really sorry, but the lad that won the first prize, I see him all the time, goes quite a lot of away games, you recognise him, can't remember his name, but he got a good win. And then Molly got the £100, and she, fair play to her, she went, who wants a shot, as soon as she won. So
Molly,
nice little baby Guinness in there, so that was all right.
Not only can she recite the AFC Bournemouth squad standing on her head in front of Semenyo and Tavernier, she can also shots.
I think she was standing on her head by the end of the night, I'll be honest. But yeah, so it was nice. It was nice that it was still a decent atmosphere in there after and stuff after a real horrible wet and windy afternoon. But the point was big.
So quarter 2 in the pub, you're looking at the team come through, and our worst fears, I suppose they are kind of worst fears, really. I mean, not so much now in hindsight, given the result, given the performance. The second half was phenomenal from us, but no Semenyo at all.
I always think when that graphic comes out, subconsciously, what do you look for first? What did I look for first? And straight away, when I see no Semenyo, I go to the bench, and I was like, is he on the bench? And he's not. So that was my first fear. We did call that Diakite would come in, didn't we? So I wasn't too surprised. And then I noticed, Krupi and Ever. So that'd be interesting how we line up. I think I messaged you saying it'd be interesting what we do there. Will Krupi play wide? Will he kind of join Ever?
You said he did that for the under-21s for France in the week.
Yes, play kind of more off the left. So I thought, Tav's played a lot in the 10, so could we be doing that? Transpired really that Krupi was just a little bit off Ever, wasn't he? And then the only other surprise was when I saw Cookie with the armband. I thought, that means there's him in at right back, which, I mean, obviously transpired. I thought he was brilliant all game. But interesting that Smithy and Jimenez, 2 natural right backs on the bench, but then Jimenez has had a knock, Smithy's had the concussion, so it makes a bit more sense, and maybe just still wanted a bit of experience and leadership in there. For them, the only surprise really was that obviously Somerville wasn't fit, kind of come out of nowhere, and Lewis Guillaume came in, but apart from that, they were pretty much as I expected. It was a little bit, I think everyone was a little bit worried with no Semenyo, of course, and then I think what adds into that is then you look at the bench, which, it's not an awful bench by any means, but you go, no Kluivert, no Semenyo, no players to really turn it. But what transpired is we do still have players that can turn it.
So do you think this is a glimpse into our post-Semenyo world? Because I honestly think he will go in January now.
Yes, I do.
I can't see how he won't.
No, I don't.
Why would they do that?
Yeah.
With the contract if he wasn't going?
And then you look at some of the teams that are looking at, and we just mentioned Liverpool. I mean, Salah going to AFCON as well. You look at Semenyo and think that's, and the problem is now we know that if they bid a certain amount, it has to be accepted. So probably is. I think it's obviously a real blow, but and then you look at it from the other side and go, okay, let's see what the boys can do without him. Yeah.
Speaking of Semenyo though, when he went off on international break, who were they playing? Ghana?
Japan. I think it was Japan. Yeah.
Okay, so what? Hang on. So his injury was a niggle from
before Villa, apparently.
Yeah, before Villa that got aggravated by the sounds of it. Why would he go out there then?
Not a clue. And I don't know what the situation is there. I don't know whether a club can actually officially say you're not going.
Just seems odd that he was
very strange, and then to play like 50 odd minutes and just come off.
I mean, this is the kind of the thing that Ryan Christie was having last season, was it? Where he was playing with an injury managed, of course, but then at some point it had to be operated on. But yeah, seemed very odd. Oh, by the way, congratulations to Adam Smith as well. He's become AFC Bournemouth's joint 6th highest appearance maker alongside Jamie Hayter.
Oh, Jamie Hayter. That was a nice little blast there. Yeah, but Smithy, just great to see him come on at the end just to get him out there again. And yeah, he's still got a big part to play for us. And I just don't think he's ever going to go, to be honest with you. But yeah, please see him all right as well. Good enough for the bench after that kind of concussion injury, which was a real shame because I think, but it's weird how sliding doors, isn't it? Does Cookie play without, what I mean, without that incident at Villa Park? And as I'm sure we'll come on to, Matt, I thought Cookie was excellent.
Before we get started, if you're watching on YouTube, you'll probably see a load of graphics on this screen. Certainly on the pod, we'll be referencing them throughout, and we get all our stats and facts and data and trivia from SofaScore. So if you're a Cherries enthusiast, you know the importance of real-time updates, in-depth stats, all that kind of stuff. It has instant live scores. They analyse every play with heat maps, shot maps, goal action animations, the lot, and live scores, interactive features, plus it's customizable as well. Great app, and it'll be interesting to see what the scores are at the end. I'll be testing Tom.
I've avoided it.
Have you?
I've avoided it on purpose because I'm convinced I could get the top 4 for both teams, like scorers. It should be easy in my opinion, but we'll see.
We'll see. So if you want to download the app, every download, we say this every week, but if you now actually pay attention to us, every download truly helps the future of Back in the Net, because we get a small little kickback per download as long as you don't uninstall it, right? And it's a really good app. It's free, so why not? Go to afcbpodcast.com/SofaScore. There's a QR code on screen, or if you're watching on YouTube, just scroll down to the description or the pinned comment when you can go and download it. Thanks very much. Tom, conditions were absolutely atrocious. First half, absolutely atrocious.
I saw that. Forest fans watch our match today going, how the hell has that stadium survived this wind and rain? And yeah, sorry, Forest fans. And at half time, I thought we got to get this game off. We got to call this game off. Get the structural engineer and say this ain't safe.
We had a couple of chances throughout that game. I think early doors, we had Alex Scott who had a shot from a tight angle. I think Brooks at one stage, midway through the half, pulled it wide after good work from Tavernier on the left. He cut it back, and then Krupi just almost laid it onto him, but by accident almost. Scuff shot wide, and then there was a little bit of action towards the end of the half where we pushed for pulling one back somewhat, but it was a case of 2 very clinical finishes from Callum Wilson, Bournemouth's goal machine.
First game back.
And the first one, is that an Iraola assist?
Yeah, I think it might have been. But yeah, it was... Petro's got to look at it. He will look at himself on this game. I think in general, he'll look at the stats like we're going to and go, they've had 2 shots at me. I've conceded 2 today. And that first one, when I saw it, it didn't feel like a massive error. I'm right behind the goal, as you know, because it was hit with a lot of power. It slid it up, and then he got onto it, and then it was just too strong. But he's still, if you're a top goalkeeper, which I believe Petrovic is, he's got to save that.
Yeah, I agree. There's one angle that shows him almost gambling with the ball over the top. When he sees that Senesi misses the header, he moves to the right. Then he sees that Callum Wilson's intercepted the ball. He's quickly almost scrambling back, sorting his feet out. And then the shot, fair play to Callum, shoots really early. And he couldn't sort his feet out. And yeah, you could argue that the save was not with a strong arm that we would usually expect from Petrovic. Whether that's a sort of glaring error.
It's not a glaring error.
I can't quite file it in that.
No, I wouldn't say it's a glaring error, but Petro, this season alone, he's made a lot of saves that were harder than that. Yeah. So he'll be a little bit frustrated, but as you say, it's not a glaring error, and I wasn't expecting Callum to just hit it, so I doubt he was. But yeah, he'd be a little disappointed, and that's just because of the bar he's set, in my opinion. He's been so good for us that I would... if you paused it when Callum's at the shot, I would back Petro to just do enough. So that was a shame.
And I think I said on the fan cams, or maybe even on the vlog, it reminded me of a Callum Wilson goal that he scored for us against West Ham. And I think I mistakenly said it was in the 3-2. It might have been in the 2-0 2019, where very similar angle, but his went a lot higher. Fair play. And Petrovic maybe could have done better. Mate, £25 million. The bloke can't even pop a balloon.
Yeah, that was brilliant. That was. How did he? I mean,
what's going on?
That's why he's a goalkeeper. Yeah, that is why he's a goalkeeper. I mean,
that little black balloon, and the referee stopped play because of it. I mean, why?
It's all about him. It's got to be all about the ref.
So he stopped you. Like, you got to pop that balloon. He goes over and tries, misses it, and he's like, "Didn't be arsed."
Why was there so many balloons?
Yeah, I don't know.
Not sure.
Sort it out, AFCB. But Callum Wilson, I mean, yeah, instinctive. But the second goal that he scored, mate, I mean, I said, oh my God, what a goal on the vlog, because I thought the technique for that was absolutely superb. There are some various issues here and there. First issue for the first goal that we conceded, maybe Senesi.
Yeah.
For this one, they had a free kick. We didn't deal with it well. Alex Scott sort of half-headed it out to Bowen, I think, who then put it back in. I think Tadibo then got something on it, and it fell to Callum. Tyler Adams was probably the smallest man on the pitch, was right behind Callum. But the way he did that all in one motion, the chest and then the pirouetted shot with his left foot, that was a phenomenal goal.
Yeah, it's a proper finish.
You must have had a well good view of that.
I did, and I didn't think we were in any sort of danger, really, when he gets it. But it's a hell of a finish. He's got to do something special here to put this in, and he did. Then he ran to celebrate, and then he gave it a bit of respect.
I don't, you know what? He scored a goal for his football club. Don't worry about the lads.
Yeah, I don't care. I think it's one of them that if he scores them 2 goals down the other end, I think he just runs over to his fans and celebrates. But I think he realises all Bournemouth fans there. But that's what Callum's got in his locker, as I say, mate. And they'll be praying that he stays fit, because they didn't do a lot, but they've got a striker that can put the ball in the net. And as you say, mate, really, really good finish. Again, defensively, I get what you're saying on Celestia in the first one. He does that a few times, that he was a bit too eager to go and win a header or win a tackle. I just think in general, we looked a bit disorganised. I said to you at one point that there was like a corner that come in. Nothing happened, but we're defending the corner, and like 2 of them went to the same player. I think it was Cook and Diakite. And then someone was free. Luckily, it didn't go to him. And then Cook shouting at Baffo, kind of going, "What are you doing?" He's going, "Oh, sorry, I thought I was on that one." You just think that needs to be ironed out a little bit. It looked like a little bit like we went a bit disjointed in areas defensively, which didn't help, because listen, as much as their goalkeeper's brilliant and we should score so many more than we did, we equally should not be conceding 2 goals to 2 shots on target, and got to be a little bit more clinical in both ends.
I said at half time to you, I said it on the vlog, I sort of joked that I'm really tempted to go home early. I really am. But you did say, to your credit, anything can happen.
We've been here before.
I didn't quite expect it to be that emphatic, but
if you actually want to, I said we've been here before. Let's bring on Christie. So.
Okay. And look, when you look at the attacking momentum that we're seeing on YouTube, I've never seen anything like this, mate. I mean,
that is insane.
That is ridiculous. So just to give you some context, if you're watching this for the first time, the height of each of the bars, that indicates the intensity of each of the attacking phases. And you can see there, as the game goes on, bloody hell, we're absolutely all over them. We'll go on to some stats later on as well, some heat maps that absolutely you just wonder how we didn't win it. But look at that. But those graphics and all that kind of stuff, that happened because we made changes that, of course, you mentioned. You told Iraola to do that. But then Nuno also making some very baffling changes.
Yeah, just into the second half. Obviously, we made them at half time. I actually, joking aside, thought that Christie might come on for Adams. Just because I thought we'd have all the balls, and maybe want to keep Scott on because he's a bit better with it. But obviously, that was just a change that he made. And then Jimenez, I understood, but I didn't expect Baffa to come off and Cookie to go to centre back. Obviously, it worked superbly, and it's easy in hindsight to see why. They obviously went more defensive, brought on an extra defender for an attacker in Walker Peters for Guillaume, and then literally 5 minutes into it, when we hadn't scored yet, they took off their striker, Callum Wilson, for Souček, and the most baffling thing I've ever seen in my life. I mean, they're literally going, on 52 minutes, we're going to sit here and hope that we don't concede.
That's terrible.
But I never understand it, because the old cliche is always that best form of defensive attack, all that kind of good stuff. But imagine if you're a defender and you're defending all game, all you ask for is when you clear the ball is a striker to just harry and make it difficult.
Some kind of outlet.
They had no outlet. So they were clearing it, and it was just coming to our centre half going, right, next one. So no wonder we had all these chances, because they had no outlet, and they very, very strange. And I'm not saying that Callum might have been burnt out, but they could have brought on a striker or put, even if they had, I don't know, Chuck Bowen up front, someone to just harry us on the counter and in transition. So yeah, really strange, and that certainly helped us, and we were huffing and puffing straight away. And then obviously Dadley come on just before the goal as well.
So speaking of Diakite then, I mean, there's an argument there that none of the goals are really his error as such, but
not directly, no.
It is a concern, isn't it? Because he's come up against a few good strikers now, and each and every time they've scored at least a brace.
Yeah, Haaland 2, Wilson 2, and Mateta a hat-trick, obviously. I think in this case, he wasn't as at fault as much as in the other games. And listen, it's not anything, it's kind of like, glaring errors from him personally. just don't think we look quite as solid when he's there. And listen, he's young, he's to a new league, and sometimes it takes people a bit longer, and hopefully it'll come with him. I'm just being honest at the moment that I think I'm not really sure what is. So with SENSELESS, for example, as we saw, prime example in the second half, sometimes he can be a bit lax, he can be a bit too eager, but you know what he brings you when he's got the ball, and you want to keep him on the pitch for that at least. And with Milo's very young and obviously small sample size, you know he's going to win headers and be good in a man-on-man duel. With Diakite, he's not rapid, he's not slow, but he's not rapid. I don't feel he's a little bit better than Milo with the ball, but not. If he was that good with the ball, we would have just kept him on at centre half.
Yeah.
He's not amazing with the ball. He's not unbelievable in the air.
How does this compare to Zamani's start with AFC Bournemouth when he started?
Zamani had a few dodgy games. I remember Everton away, but in my opinion, I mean, it's hard to, without looking at the stats, I don't think he was this far. I think we always knew there was a player. But listen, it will take a little bit of time, and it's not helping either. We've mentioned this before. I don't think it's helping that he's changing it every time. And I do think, again, at Sunderland, I think Milo plays, and we can't keep doing that. We can't keep doing it, and that won't help, but it is a difficult one. I do feel for him, but...
And it's hard for SENSELESS as well, having a partner that changes every week. Got different attributes, so you've got to adjust your...
Yes, and equally, I would say, obviously SENSELESS is on that left side of the two. I would also say that the right back changes a lot, which doesn't help, whereas Traffeir's always there at the moment. So it's a real difficult one, but... I'm looking at it going, if he wasn't, I always make this point, when they're new and they sign for a lot of money, you kind of, in the back of your head, you're going, well, he's got to be good.
Yeah.
I think, has he done anything better than James Hill's done when he's played?
Oh, okay.
That's all. Forget Milo. I don't see a massive upgrade on James Hill at the moment. Ceiling might be a lot higher.
Yeah.
That's all my concern is, really. Not that I think he's a bad player. And listen, we've lost... would have been weird if we weren't having these conversations, because we lost Dean Elton and Ilya Zabani. So we're not expecting them to be that good. And I really hope it happens for him, because maybe there were a few at the start of the season that I'm forgetting, like kind of Newcastle at home, where he marked Voltemada off the game. So not be too disrespectful, but it's just something that's a little bit of a concern at the moment, because I like to think he'd be getting I don't know, just kind of a bit more settled at the moment, but hopefully it'll come.
So it took about 10-15 minutes for us to get into it, but from about 60 minutes onwards, oh my God, the chances started to flow. West Ham were visibly a lot deeper. SENSELESS was constantly playing this kind of perpendicular ball forward, straight forward, and there was one that he played, Krupi, controlled it, and then put Christie in. A cracking strike, but well saved by Iraola. And it just, the momentum started, the atmosphere, which was dire in the first half, by the way, it started to improve thereafter. That's all we want to see sometimes. That's all it takes. Sometimes it's a bit of a crunching challenge or something like that. And, well, on 69 minutes, it was a really good move where Lewis Cook, who... playing at the back, he's sort of got that vision of a centre midfielder, a cultured passer of the ball, someone that can see the game in front of him, and obviously that's where we benefit. But Jimenez had a lot of space in front of him on that right-hand side, and I was just saying, run into that space. He did. And Cook played the ball, and then he does this run, almost Adam Smith-esque, where he cuts in. He's not necessarily hugging the touchline. He cuts in, runs into the box. It sort of falls forever. His first touch is pretty bad, I've got to say, and you think he's going to shoot, but then... in comes Kilman with swipe of the century. Should have been a red card, but a penalty was awarded. What? How was that not red?
It wasn't even a yellow.
What?
It's just ridiculous.
Don't understand that.
Absolutely ridiculous. I mean, they said afterwards, Andoni's obviously not happy, and he said afterwards that he spoke to the officials and they said it wasn't denying a goal score opportunity. He's 5 yards out. He's 5 yards out. He's going to poke the ball in. Can't get me around that at all. I mean, listen, in the grand scheme of things, we obviously get a point and we score the penalty. Do I think that them going to 10 and just still playing the same way would have made much difference? Probably not. But if you get the chance to have one less player, you would have taken it. So a really frustrating one, because I don't see how that wasn't a red. But have you got some of the rules up there, haven't you?
Yeah, so this is from AFCB Rob, and you can tell, by the way, that AFCB Rob is the financial guru and likes to save money where he can, because I notice his mobile network is Labara Mobile, where you can get like loads of data for like £5 a month. Fair play, Rob.
Love that, Rob.
And look, that bit sectioned in red there, So cautions for unsporting behaviour. So there are different circumstances where a player must be cautioned, including when he handles the ball to interfere with or stop a promising attack, except where the referee awards a penalty kick for a non-deliberate handball offence. So that's what they're saying this is, non-deliberate.
Most deliberate handball I've ever seen.
Of course it is.
Most deliberate I've ever seen. Yeah, really surprising. But again, I'm sure we'll come onto it a little bit, mate, because Ever's having a bit of a time of it at the moment. What I will say is that's another, I believe it's in Europe, he's won the most penalties in the last year or something. He's won 8, I think.
His first touch was poor, though.
Yeah, he done it against Brighton this season where you thought, what's he doing? Oh, we won a penalty.
Up to this point, though, I'm sort of like...
I like him to want to score more than he wants to win penalties. And I also wanted him... Did I want it? Really? No, because I think the confidence he's in at the moment. But I don't like the fact that we've got no penalty takers on the pitch. I want my striker to go, I want it. And he just walked straight away.
That's not good.
I just want him to want it, but I feel for him. It's not happening.
Yeah, it's not happening at the moment. And there are rightfully some criticisms coming on social media about him, which we'll need to discuss. Maybe not on this one. We've got plenty of time to do that, of course. Hopefully he can turn it around at Sunderland and then these conversations will all be forgotten. So the penalty taker was obviously Tavernier scored it, but... We're looking at footage on YouTube, the raw footage from the vlog here, where not all of this was shown on the vlog, and it's clear that Lewis Cook is having debates with Marcus Senesi, Tyler Adams, all players that I would say are the senior members of the side. And Krupi walked away from the spot. It's almost like he thought he was going to take it. Cook was remonstrating with other players. It's almost like Krupi was meant to take it.
Yeah, it was a weird one. How I kind of looked at it was. Because I remember, I believe it was at the Villa game where obviously Semenyo missed. Tav had the ball. Because they do that a lot now, don't they? The player that's not taking it has the ball. So he's, just waits and then the other one steps up. So it looked like everyone was kind of, Cookie was obviously the captain on the day, remember? So I always think that if a penalty taker's not on the pitch, they normally, the captain lets them know this is what we discussed and what we would do. He was kind of stood there thinking, okay, Tav's holding it and Krupi's going to take it. That's what it looked like. And then he saw Krupi walking away. And he's put his arms out and started going, what are we doing? And pointed at Krupi. Krupi was almost doing this, what can I do? He wants it. So Adams was telling Cook to leave it. Jimenez had his hands on his head. It was all a bit strange. Obviously, Tav's just focusing while the ball's in the wind, flying around. And that's one of them that you just think, please score now, because otherwise that could be a bit of a moment. I don't know, you don't know what the situation is, but Tav, mate, I thought Tav was having a good game for us, so maybe he just thought I fancy it, but...
Well, that's the thing. I mean, if a player, things can be decided before a game, but if it's just one of these moments in the game where Tav's feeling, I can do it, that's where it causes a bit of friction, obviously, because Krupi thinks that he's going to walk up to it and take it, but then the player in that moment, I sort of don't, I mean, had he missed...
Of course, and I think, awful. And I wonder if people like Cooking that were remembering, I remember when Cliver obviously has always been our penalty taker, and then we had Chelsea at home, and he decided, we'll give it to Ever because he needs a goal, when Ever hadn't scored for us yet and missed. So... It's a difficult one, isn't it? And it's not like Krupi was his off form or anything. So, but maybe they weren't 100% sure, and Tav just went, "I'm happy to have it." And Krupi thought, "You're a senior member of the squad. I'll let you have it." And for me, I just wanted a player to get up and smash it, and
he did.
And he did. And we've had a lot of things kind of go mini viral after the Villa game of me not watching the penalty and Villa fans going, "This is what he's doing for the camera." I never watch penalties, as you know. No. So I thought, actually, I didn't watch the last one and we missed it. So I'm going to go on this thing now. I'll watch it and I'll keep watching until we miss. That's what I'm going to... So I watched it kind of like through people's arms, not really just to see. And pleased that Tav just smashed it. And I wanted him to just hit it with power. So I was pleased. But I look back and go, God, Iraola was in one of them games. I was a bit worried. But Tav deserved that because we've said it a lot of times. I think he gets criticised a lot. And I thought he was very, very good.
I thought he does this almost like... You know when the Flintstones are starting the car and they start running and then they get going. He does that. Yeah, Harry Kane does that for penalties as well. It just maybe builds up a little bit of momentum. But it's sort of akin to Eddie Howe's penalty at Blackburn Rovers in the League Cup where it just smashed it so centrally. Just thought, let's just get it in the area where there's the most space around it, sort of almost like a margin of error. Just absolutely smashed it.
What a night that was, by the way. Do you remember he missed for us in that shootout?
Oh... Derek Holmes.
It was Derek. Yeah, just pass it straight at the keeper. Nice one, Derek.
So speaking of Ever, he had a number of headers that were little deft flicks that went wide. I mean,
I don't think any of them were massive chances. They weren't. But...
There's a lot of times he head towards goal where you just know he's not going to get the power.
No.
But again, I'm thinking there are so many times where he should have shot and he didn't.
My concern more is you're a striker, and there was a few. It's definitely one. I think it was Jimenez down the right, where we're putting balls across goal, and he's on the edge. Why are you not there?
Get in there.
He just doesn't seem to have that striker instinct.
I mean, there's one where he goes through and slips.
Yeah, that was a 2-2, I think, and you just think this is his moment, and he just slips over, and you think,
his moment.
You know, when you just having that sort of time of it, that's what it felt like for him. But listen, he does, as we always say, he does work his nuts off, and he does bring people into play. And
I do remember another shot, actually.
Go on.
That was a free kick routine that didn't quite come off from the left-hand side where Christie... Yeah, I think Tav was ready, but then it got recycled very quickly and, smashed, and another save. And also there was Adley intercepted a long ball, from Senesi. And, of course, we've got Unal, but we need to talk about the Unal moment, mate. I mean, this is why you're wearing the clothes that you are, mate. And my God, he was on the pitch for 55 seconds.
It was his first 2 touches, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He come on 80. And,
for Tyler, yeah.
Yeah, scored an 81. Yeah, we just went through. And again, that goes back to my Tav figures. The reason we do that is because you go, Tav, go and play there now. He just plays everywhere, doesn't he? So Tav went a bit deeper, and we had him in that middle with Christie. But yeah, really pleased to see him on. I was more thinking, Traffer's getting in a lot, and you made a point earlier, which is obviously part of this goal, about Senesi trying them balls. I will give credit to Traffer, because I think what allows him to make them passes, Traffer gets so high and wide.
He's always wide, providing either a decoy or an easy pass, one or the other.
Yeah, so if he doesn't get it, it makes it so much easier for Senesi to slide that ball in. And I think Van Bissaka and a few of their players weren't sure, because they're like, we're leaving a big gap. I need to go with Traffer.
But he threaded the eye of a needle. I mean, that pass wasn't overly obvious, I've got to say.
No, but there's 2 centre-backs, and he just, that first touch, a swivel.
The best part of that goal, the first touch, by far. I think it's with his left foot and then the turn, but he just weights it really nicely, which means that it just rolls on slightly for him to then run on and hit it first time. Honestly, that goal is underrated.
Yeah, beautiful. Lovely little finish as well. And
he nearly did it again, like we say.
Yeah, he nearly did it again.
Just took an extra touch.
Yeah, but it was a really nice finish for him. I personally thought when he come on, that's all right, we can get Traffer and that whipping balls in. You've just mentioned about the other little headers. I thought Unal will get his head on it. Didn't expect that, but lovely finish for him, and obviously sentimentally really nice as well. He's been out for a long, long time with an ACL, and he just a little reminder that we have still got him. Do you know what I mean? I think there was a while, even in the summer, we were kind of going, well, when Unal comes back, he'll probably go out on loan. No, we haven't. He's not going to play a part. But yeah, it's a good option to have. And as we said, if Ever's really going off it a little bit, we got some good attacking options.
10 minutes of action or 15 minutes of action, and everyone loves a guy. We are so fickle as football fans.
Not at all.
We were wondering whether he's got a future. Maybe he needs to go to Lorient for a bit. It's so mad. But if you're watching on YouTube at the moment, right, check out this heat map. It's I've never seen a heat map where it's so red in the opponent's half, and West Ham barely even got into our half at all. And even match of the day, the stats emphasise this when you're comparing the first half with the second half. Look at that, triple the amount of shots, quadruple the amount of shots of target, 5 big chances as opposed to 0. Look at that, touches in the opposition box, again, triple. Expected goals, oh my God, mate.
Yeah, I know, it's mad, isn't it? It's, absolutely. The more you look at them things, how do we not win this game?
How did we not win it?
Yeah, Iraola.
Yeah, I would have taken a point at half time. I'd have ripped your arm off.
I know, Iraola was pretty good, which doesn't help. But yeah, I think they had one attempt in the second half, and they went out for a throw in. So it was Petrovic didn't have anything to do, did he? But and then going to the average positions is absolutely wild. That's how we end the game, isn't it?
Yeah, this is how we end the game. But look, even if I was to untick that box, it's not largely that different. I've got to say, we've got every single player in their half. I mean, Senesi's right on halfway line by the looks of it.
I mean, Petrovic is not even in his box.
No, he's not.
Crazy, absolutely crazy.
And they've got one player in our half. One.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my God,
absolutely mad, mate. It's it's frustrating that we couldn't quite get that third. But listen, we got a couple in the end. I mean, we were very close to still losing the game with virtually them stats, because we had a lot at 2-1, didn't we? Yeah. So at least we managed to get something out of it, because it would have been a travesty if we didn't.
West Ham fans must be worried about that drop off. I mean, it almost felt like one of those drills you do, attack v defence, when you're like playing under 12s football.
Yeah, a lot of them were really infuriated by the changes, as we've kind of mentioned already, that they just kind of invited us on. But a lot of them, to their credit, said, Bournemouth are a bloody good side, and we've done really well to get a point. And I think it's one of them. They'll be in the same breath as us. They'll be going, God, we threw away a 2-goal lead, but they'll also be going, how did we not lose that? Yeah. So, and I don't want to be disrespectful, because maybe they're looking at it going, we need to kick on and try and win at these places. But personally, the season they're having, it's not a bad point for them. They'll be frustrated that teams like Forest have gone to Liverpool and won. But I don't know how you think, just dipping on West Ham a little bit. I didn't see loads to think they're definitely going to be all right.
No.
But then it goes, is Callum going to stay fit and all that? I'm not sure. I feel like they'll be in the scrap, but they might have enough. You know, where we saw... We've seen a few teams recently, even like Forest, that don't look good, but I thought, but the way when Deutsch gets into them, I think they'll have enough, etc., etc.
They're just Jekyll and Hyde. I don't really know. I mean, in these, when I see teams like that, I would always say home form's key, but their home form's so patchy, and at the London Stadium as well. Did well, of course, against Newcastle United. Which were a brilliant performance, but I don't know. It's almost like he's still trying to forge their identity a little bit.
Yeah. A few bodies in January, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. So the stats there, these are slightly different when you look at it. These are Sofa Score Zone stats, 76%. Look at that. Look, had the most amount of the ball, didn't win the game. Always happens, eh? Yeah. But look, 4.05. And then the actual shot stats themselves, 28 total shots.
Have we had 76% possession and ended up with more bloody yellow cards than them?
Absolutely.
I mean, we didn't even have a chance to foul, did we?
No. Mad. One of the things that really irked me, I mean, we've spoke about sort of David Brooks getting booked. Have we spoke about that?
I think briefly alluded to it, yeah.
I mean, that was crazy. And then there was I think you'd have been probably having a pint at this stage, but there was Alex Scott went down and he was slowly getting back up, but Thomas Bramall insisted that the physio came on to treat him, even though he was getting back up and saying, I'm fine. The physio ran onto the pitch. He didn't treat him, but because the physio had entered the field of play, it meant that Alex Scott then had to go off the pitch. And then the play restarts, and I've never understood this thing that refs do. Not an instant, okay, like take the free kick, 5-10 seconds later, he kind of shepherds the player on. About 2-3 minutes later,
strange.
What is that? Why do they do it at some weird moment of time? I don't get it. So we were down to 10 men for quite a while for an incident that shouldn't have even happened. Alex Scott was absolutely fine. Thomas Bramall, make it all about you. Sofa Scores, man of the match, and ratings then. How do you want to do this? I'll let you dictate whether you do a Bournemouth one, a West Ham one, a match one. It's up to you.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, I know that I appreciate now, because I said, I reckon I can get the top 4, but then I appreciate that Unal's come off the bench and scored, so he might be quite high. But if I'm going on the players that play the majority...
Okay, I mean, just to let you know, I have got the stats of the subs as well, if you so it's up to you.
So Unal may put a curveball in, but for them, Iraola is going to be mentally high, Callum Wilson's going to be mentally high, and for us, Lewis Cook and Marcus Tavernier.
Okay, so let's have a look at this. Yeah, Lewis Cook, as you can see, and Marcus Tavernier, the top scorers.
Marcos Senesi.
8.1.
Didn't notice that, but it's the assist, isn't it? And he probably, as he always does, he doesn't really lose the ball when he has it. So that's nice, actually. That was a bit of a curveball in there. But yeah, I felt like it was quite evident. Obviously, Unal comes on and does really well. As did Addy and Christie. Didn't lose the ball, but I think it was quite evident throughout the whole game that Tav and Cook were really driving us on, and we got to mention a bit about Tav. Got to mention Lewis Cook. I mean, he hasn't played barely. Yeah. He's not a right back. He's not a centre back. But you see him and you go, oh God, I forget how good he is. He oozes class. And I've got to say, as good as Alex Scott's been, there's a reason he got called up to the England squad.
Yeah, Scotty and Brooks, I think, had underwhelming games, and that's reflected here, I've got to say.
Yeah, agreed. And yeah, Scott got in the England squad for a reason, mate. But for me, I've been saying it on a few shows, I just think Ryan Christie is essential. There's a reason he was playing a season last season. Got to get him in this team.
My concern, and I think I put this on our AFCB podcast WhatsApp group, is that the players that cause concern, not just of one game, because we know that Brooks has been class. Alex Scott somewhat as well, but some of the ones like Evan Nilsson, etc.
Diakite, Evan Nilsson.
It's the ones we've paid a lot of money for that I've got more concern. But the ones that have cost a couple of quid, they're the ones that you're like, they are so reliable.
Yeah, it's that. Again, it's that kind of. You do wonder if it's that impetus, especially in the second half, of like Cook and Tav and stuff going, look, we're the experienced heads now. Let's drive them on. I didn't think anyone was like hideous in them attacking bits. It's just for me, like when we were behind, and we haven't really got the options on the bench like we normally have. and we're still taking Brooks off. Brooks shouldn't be happy with that, because Brooks should be going, I shouldn't be coming off at this point. But I felt it was the right call. He wasn't having it. He wasn't having one of them games where I thought he might get on the ball and try and make things happen. It wasn't quite happening for him, mate. But as you say, I think everyone's got to have ups and downs with form. I'm gutted for Gannon-Doak and Kluivert as well, that it was a game where they would have really been good to come on and change it or even start, but they both got injuries. We know that Gannon-Doak, I saw, has had successful surgery.
Okay, good.
So it means he'll probably be out longer, but they've obviously looked at it and God, he keeps getting hamstring injuries. We need to get him sorted. So that's a positive that was successful. We're not 100% sure on how long Kluivert and Semenyo will be out for, right. But we can do with getting them back quick, mate.
And just remind me about the yellow card count again.
It's a worry. I mean, Adams avoided one, which was a bonus, but him, Marco Celesi, David Brooks and Alex Jimenez are all on 4 yellows. So they're all one away. My thing is always, they're going to get at least 3 of them. I think we'll get a yellow card before the turn. Yeah. But just don't get them in the same game, because then you lose them for the same game. I think we got 2 games coming up in the same week, haven't we? So we got Sunderland, Everton and Chelsea. Yeah. All within a couple of weeks. So I think we'll probably lose a couple of them there.
Do you think
Traffair's now up to 3 as well?
Oh, do you think Iraola would pick a side, like thinking about yellow cards, be like, okay, we can't have all 3 of them playing or whatever? Like, would he do that, do you think?
I don't know. I mean, I think I said on here actually that I felt in the Villa game, obviously Adams was still on the 4. He was the only one on 4. And we were 4-0 down, and I thought, I want him to go kick someone, because no respect to West Ham, but I don't think it's a Tyler Adams game.
No, I agree.
In the next one at Sunderland, where you don't want to lose them for Everton. No. It's difficult, isn't it? I always remember, I don't know if you remember, I remember there was once with Eddie that we had, because domestic cups would count the same, and we had Ake on 4, and we had a League Cup game against a lower league team in the week. Last minute, Ake just like kicks the ball away for no reason and gets booked, and Eddie's like, that's what I want.
Love it.
So yeah, maybe a bit of mind games on that, but listen, we got a squad. Just one of them things to look out for, because we have had a lot of yellows this season. And yeah, even Semenyo's on until 3, I think, as well.
So if you're a regular viewer of our YouTube channel, you'll know all about our global cherry sequence, where we take in the opinions of some of our international fan base. Good news is, for this week, we've upgraded their thoughts in terms of the fact that we're bringing them on to the second look. So no sort of Gogglebox style opinions this week. We're just going to go straight into it. So kicking us off is Kyle from New Jersey.
But that game, first half was dreadful. That was terrible. I mean, I can only imagine what the weather was like over there. It looked terrible. Cue the Arsenal fan TV clip of Robbie saying that it's been raining. It's been raining for both sides, because it obviously weather impacts both sides. But you can't help but feel it did us no good, obviously. But second half came back with the Iraola game plan, and it worked. Like that, I don't know. It's typical. I really don't know what else to say, because in the end, it always works out to some degree. And it did. It's crazy that we didn't get the win in the end, honestly. So only other thing to say is, so delighted for Unal to come back. I mean, that was only, I don't even think he had double digits worth of minutes before pulling that move off and having a fantastic finish. He still got it in the tank. It's like nothing ever happened to him. So delighted for him to get that goal. On to the next one, up the Ches.
Yeah, brilliant stuff from him. What about Terry Nichols?
Isn't it always the way? We should beat West Ham, and somehow they always pull off a miraculous draw. The first half, we were trying to be creative with opportunities, and we just weren't executing very well. And then Callum Wilson took advantage of a few defensive mistakes, and then we were down 2-0. Came back at halftime, totally dominated halftime, and we should have won. The stats for this game are unreal. I wish we could score better. I think Tavernier played very well today, and there's some questions maybe about Evan Nilsson. Tell me what you think, and up the cherries and on to the next match. Hopefully we will start our momentum going again.
Good stuff from Terry. Here's a man that Tom loves, and he's coming to Sunderland, isn't he? We're seeing him next week.
Yes, yeah, get in.
Chris Edwards.
Today's match was a lesson in clinicality. West Ham maximized their few chances. We squandered the majority of ours. Sam and Tom, I'd like to know your opinion on something. Do you think our style of play determines the body types of the players we try to recruit? I ask because whenever we line up for free kicks or corner kicks, it seems like the majority of Premier League team players tower over ours. All right, on to Sunderland. Sam, I'd like an update on the Dorset Beavers. Up the chest.
Love that from Chris. What about James from Winnipeg in Canada then?
Well, the tale of two halves. I think the first half we weren't great, but really they got 2 goals that came out of nothing. Wilson really just popping up to cause us torment. But the second half, we were all over them. We deserved more goals than we had. But a couple things I would want to bring up. The penalty, I think, could have been a red card. And maybe I'm crazy, but I thought he swung at the ball pretty clearly. And we were pretty clear and on goal. And I think VAR could have looked at that and said it was a red card. Maybe I'm crazy, but I don't know. That's just how I see it. Other than that, it's great to see Unal back getting a goal after an injury. You love to see that. So many shots on net, though. So many opportunities. We couldn't get one in. It's really frustrating. But at the end of the day, we'll take the draw after being 2-0 down at half. So up the cherries.
Love that. Superb. Next, it's David Cordell in Washington.
It's David from just outside Washington, D.C. We gathered a group of Bournemouth supporters in a nice warm bar while you were stuck in that pouring rain. And really, was it a game of 2 halves? The first half, I thought we were disappointing. First goal was very soft. Second goal was a brilliant Callum goal. But really, somebody should have been blocking him and not allowing him to turn like that. Second half, much, much, much better. And overall, I thought, especially when Christie came on, we looked like a different side. Unal scored a beautiful goal. Probably should have scored a winner as well. Tav scored a great penalty, and I think should be our penalty taker if he can score penalties like that every game. Anyway, on to Sunderland. Let's beat the Stadium of Light, next week. And see you next week.
Superb stuff. Next, Gabe Sylvan from Arlington in Virginia.
I think there's only 2 lessons that can be learned after a game like that. It's only got to be 2 things with me, no more, no less. The first is that as excellent as our second half was, I think today we learned that doing poor defensive mistakes can cost you points, even with an excellent second half. But the second thing I was going to say is that Iraola once again proves he's the king of second halves and of subs. If you look at our shape in the second half, it was fantastic. We were much more intense, much more direct. But also one thing I really loved is that we were doing this really good 1-2 touch passing to set each other up for shots at the edge of the box. I want to see more of that for future reference. In terms of the subs, I thought they were all individually performing well, but I thought the biggest thing that they brought was that they directly made everyone around them better as the second half wore on. So for instance, Christie, who has to start next weekend, by the way, directly made Truffert better because he was giving better outlet passes to Truffert, who kept bombing forward. It was excellent. Then similarly, Adley and Jimenez, who did really well in terms of driving into space and providing outlets, enabled Tavernier to get a much better second half. And then finally also, SENSELESS had a much better second half because Unal did very well in terms of offering that through ball on the floor passing option when it wasn't really working in the first half for SENSELESS. So that's the big impact for the subs. Finally, on to Unal. I'm so happy for him he got that goal. To have so many long-term injuries and to do such an amazing turn and composed finish is phenomenal. He needs more minutes, but as a good thing, positives to take as well, and up the cherries.
I love the way he always makes 2 points. Always has to make 2 points. Finally, Mark Greggs from Brisbane in Australia.
Hey, Sam and Tom. Latest update from sunny Brisbane for you. You might have noticed there's a little bit of a quiet cricket game going on at the moment, so a bit distracted with that, but got to see the game. Definitely a game of 2 halves, and the weather looked horrendous and played a massive part in that game. First half wasn't great for Bournemouth, was it really? But and Callum Wilson, we know how good he is, and fair play to West Ham for getting him. But why they took him off, I don't know, and so glad they did. Second half, though, we came out strong, very strong. We absolutely annihilated them at times. I mean, we scored the penalty, which makes a big difference when we score them, right? And we came back to 2-2, and we should have won it. The other Iraola, he got West Ham that point today. I mean, he was fantastic in goal. God knows how we didn't get that third goal. Ever is worrying a little bit. He's not getting those goals. He's not quite back to where he should be. We know he's got it in him. I reckon a goal or 2, he should be back. But bit worrying there. And Unal coming on and getting the goal. So pleased for him. So nice to come back from the injury and get that goal so quickly on the pitch as well. We've got a few yellow cards up our sleeve at the moment. Not too good. We're going to lose a few players soon with that. But overall, 2-2, West Ham. It was bound to happen. Up them Cheddars, on to Sunderland.
Well, Tom, there we go. Just a couple of quick mentions. Steve Jones was there. Obviously, like Hammer.
I knew you'd be happy with that, though, because you liked him, didn't you?
Bloody love Steve Jones.
Yeah,
he was on
like
Keith
him.
Brewer's table. I think he was popped down to the hospitality and did a few bits on the mic as well. Chris Akabusi was there as well.
Was he? I don't know. I love Chris Akabusi. What does that remind you of?
Record Breakers?
No, it reminds me of Gavin and Stacey. You know, when they go, I know the answer, Chris Akabusi. You know, in the quiz, pub quiz. But yeah, Chris Akabusi. Yeah,
He's a West Ham fan.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't realise. So Steve Jones played for West Ham. He's a tiny bit before my time, Steve Jones. So he was West Ham and Bournemouth, was he?
Yeah, Charlton as well. He was absolutely. I loved him.
Yeah,
I absolutely loved him.
Nice.
He was such a good striker. Tix just said something on the ACB podcast group just earlier, saying, "Is this season of the Premier League closer than ever, or is he just giddy that we are somehow still right at the top? We're 7 points off top, 7 points from 16th.
Yeah, it's strange, isn't it? I don't know. It's still early, isn't it? It's hard without knowing what it was like last season. I don't know. I do think that there's a big point is that the three promoted teams are putting up a fight. Last season, it was nowhere near that.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously, the lot down the road were pathetic. So,
and they won, by the way.
Yeah, they done
all
right.
I think they get.
No, I like it because I think they're bringing in that guy. They probably don't want to give him the job, and now he's doing well, so they'll be forced to give him the job, and it'll all off. No, they're on the dizzy heights of like 14th now, so fair play to them. But yeah, I don't know if it's because them teams, obviously Sunderland are in particular, but they've all come up and you think, oh, they're all tough games. Whereas last season it felt like a few gimmies. Yeah. So I don't know if that's part of it, and also the drop off from Liverpool obviously plays a part as well. Yeah. But yeah, it's a long way to go. A lot of twists and turns.
Lot of twists and turns, but however you've been consuming this, whether you've been watching our faces or you've been listening via the pod, we just want to say thank you so much. If you're watching on YouTube, there are just a couple of things you can do before we go. If you haven't subscribed,
yes, make sure you click the big fat like button, click the bell, and you'll see when all the videos are out. And then the subscribe button is the most important. We really do appreciate it.
Yeah, and look, next, Sunderland. That is going to be a tough game. We cannot wait for that, but fingers crossed. If you've got Unal coming on, anything can happen.
Oh, love it.
Our Turkish delight up the chest.
Oh, I might actually try a Turkish delight because I've got this feeling like I just hated it.
Try it.
But I feel like I owe it to him.
It'll change your life.